Okay, well, things are streaming. I have a game to play. Let's play the game. If you turn up, please do make sure to let me know in the chat. Also let me know how the sound is. It'll be quite hard to get everything balanced up. I think it's alright. I'm using a slightly different setup than usual, so hopefully it's listenable. I'm just going to play a game. This is Zeewolf, it's kind of a virus clone. So this first mission, my job is to destroy some of my own tanks. I think the game might be running a bit fast. This is a game that's designed for the Amiga 500, the original game, and I'm playing it on effectively a 1200 on 14 megahertz, 16020. I just feel like it's a little bit fast. You may not think that watching it. So that was the easy bit. That was where I destroy the things on my own side, just something being captured. Now comes the bit where tanks will fire back, but not if they can't point their cannons at me fast enough. I've tried playing this game before on the stream, and I had the difficulty that... oops, not a tree. Okay, so there's one tank left somewhere. I had the difficulty that I was on an FPGA emulation of Amiga, and it had difficulty simulating this game. We could go into the mechanics of how you play Amiga games on things that aren't Amigas, if you like, but it's not that exciting. Okay, so there isn't another tank on that island. Anyway, this FPGA emulation is not 100% like true to the original, and it had difficulty with a particular phase of this when you dock with a reloading vehicle, and it switches the game screen, and the game would reliably freeze at that point. So I got to like level 4 or 5 in the game with a bunch of people watching, and then the emulation died. Well, I have tried this on this setup. This is a Raspberry Pi running the Amibian software, and it works fine. Okay, I'm confused now. I can't find this other tank. I should have probably paid attention to the briefing screen to know where it is. Must be this island. There we go. Okay, that should be the end of the level. Fire control rating 50%. So apparently all that smacking bullets all over the place was around 50% successful. That actually seems quite positive, really. So you can see that I get a bonus for not using all of the weapons. You don't get any bonus for not using cannon rounds, but you do for rockets and air-to-air missiles. I'll just use the air-to-air missiles in this mission. Okay, we're going to see a problem with the way that Zeewolf works in this mission. I have to go and rescue those folks, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rescue all of them in one go, for reasons that will become clear at the end of the mission. But we can see that there's these like tanks or whatever there, so before I let the guys out, I'm going to take out these tanks. So far I haven't let anyone fire back at me. I think the graphics in this game are, you know, like pretty clever. They're definitely not, you know, advanced. They're not. There's no like sort of aesthetic beauty in the graphics, but the way they're designed to make the you know, the game functional and to use you know, to sort of efficiently use the hardware and make the game look like you're driving a helicopter around a battlefield is pretty effective, and I think it's quite a nice you know, quite a nice system. So like obviously the universe is grid based, and you can see that most in the water. Whoops! You can see that most in the water, where you know, the different depths of water relate to different coloured squares on the terrain. But the way that they've like made it slightly continuous through the height or altitude, I suppose, and the colours, and then of course like designed the maps so that they are these square grid-based maps, and allowed other things like the buildings to be offset so that it doesn't look entirely orthogonal. I just think it's like, you know, it's really clever. And then of course it's got a limited colour palette. There's like 32 colours on the screen in this display mode. But we've got a blue helicopter with you know, 3 shades of blue, green enemies, and then we've got people, and the people are even different races, and you know, multiple colours of field and sea and whatever. It's, you know, it's quite a clever use of the limited palette. I really respect the creators, and Alistair Brimble, who's you know, famous sound effects designer, who works on the at least the music, maybe the sound effects as well for this game. So my carrier looks like a blob with you know, a collection of neutral vessels in grey, and that is a reloading craft. I don't need any more weapons or fuel at the moment. So now we come to the problem. What I need to do is I've saved these 4 people, and I need to let them out. So, oops, that's the wrong people. So I'm going to land on the carrier. Now they aren't coming out. I probably didn't land close enough to the centre of the X. So let's try and improve that a bit. Okay, now they come out. 4 people. All 4 are out. Now the mission's over. That guy only just got in before the mission completed, and I don't know whether it will count. Apparently he's rescued 4. Often I only get credit for 2 or 3 on that mission. And so when there's humanitarian missions, it's always worth saving the people before you do the rest of the mission. And that was worth a huge bonus. Okay, so escort a reconnaissance plane. I'm not going to enjoy doing that because the plane will get shot at and I can't drive it. So what I'm going to do is go and destroy everything on the enemy base, then come back and take out the anti-aircraft guns. This unarmed sort of jump jet craft, reconnaissance craft, basically wouldn't have much of a chance. So for anyone who's new and who isn't that spammer. Isn't any of those spammers. Quite a lot of spam. Oh well, I suppose that does mean I've found something that people want to engage with. If you're new and you're not one of the spammers in chat, then hello, I'm Graham. I play Amiga games. I don't do it very often, and my main thing is I run a stream with my friend SR Baker called Those Amigans, where we write software for the Amiga platform. So I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to see what I can do about banning these spammers. Obviously, like, I'm currently in the have a dog and bark yourself stage of streaming, so I am doing all of the banning instead of playing. That could be considerably boring, but there we go. Get back into the game. Okay, so now that I've basically destroyed anything that might stand in my way, I'm going to go and pick up the escort craft and take them over this mission. You may think that's a bit of a weird way to go about a reconnaissance mission, to like destroy everything and I go, oh yeah, there's nothing there. But the goal of this mission is to escort the reconnaissance craft safely around. It doesn't say you shouldn't destroy all the bad guys first. Okay, so if I remember rightly, then somewhere around here is the craft. I'm using the mouse control on this game. It has mouse or joystick, and the mouse one is much more precise. It's much easier to do some very fine motion of the helicopter, whereas the joystick control, you're basically either moving in a direction or hovering. It's hard to control your speed and your altitude in the same way that you can with the mouse. So in order to make the sort of game physics better, that you're just going to fly right over that anti-aircraft gun and get shot down. In order to make the game physics better or easier, all of the aircraft are vertical takeoff and landing, which basically means they all fly like helicopters. Which basically means that the only game mechanic they had to write was how to fly a helicopter. Doing a few trick shots. This pilot has worked out, the pilot of the NPC craft has worked out that the universe wraps, and so goes back to the carrier around the universe rather than like having to fly back. Yeah, that flies a non-Euclidean flight path. Slight dodgy landing there, but I didn't stick it. is we have to evacuate 2 grand in this mission. I'm just checking the bases that I posted the thing to see if anyone has decided they want to join. If you are there and you are looking in chat, say hello. I don't like it to distance. Right, so escort one and carry the other one. Once again, I'm going to destroy everything, go in the wrong way around, destroy everything that might pose a threat, and then take the 2 back together. See, look, there's a lot of anti-aircraft fire there. I bounced off the gun. Now imagine that I was towing, and that there was also a very light AI pilot. Oops. Yeah, imagine trying to bring that craft from the previous mission and me with another plane hanging on underneath. Imagine bringing both of those through this that heavily armed base. Okay, so now it's an unarmed base. That one can take off. This one can't. So I need to remember that I'm pressing the wrong button, the wrong keyboard. And now this pilot, remember the previous pilot went the other way. He went through the base once because he was on a reconnaissance mission. Or she. Anyway, the pilot went through the base once and then went the short way back to the landing craft. This one has decided they need to fly through the base. And they're currently waiting for me at this waypoint. So their flight path takes them through all of the armed enemy base. When it's already been established that the pilots know in the game that the universe wraps and that they could have flown the other way back to the carrier without going past 3 anti-aircraft guns, a ton of tanks, and an enemy aircraft. It's almost like they are just trolling. So we're coming up on the carrier. Now I have the challenge that I have to land. This person's just going to fly off over there to make an approach, even though they've got a vertical takeoff and landing craft. They don't need to. I now have to stop this thing swinging about so much before I can land. Well, I don't need to land. I need to be able to let go of the hook. So what I'm going to do is put my own landing gear down, which will slow my craft down a bit. Then I'm going to try and find a way to get the helicopter and the plane roughly stable over the craft. And it worked. Good. life. So the folks in Zeewolf world also know that this is a game and that they can award me extra lives, rather than just saying extra remote control helicopter. Passwords are used to skip through levels instead of save mechanism. So destroy stuff and save people. Now we've been through the reasons why I'm going to do the humanitarian stuff first and save the people before destroying stuff. That is because that way I get the full humanitarian bonus. It's slightly riskier if you are the people that I'm saving, because you get carried around through an armed, through a battlefield. But it's great if you're me. Because it means you get more money at the end. And the character that I'm supposed to be playing is a mercenary. Important to realise that. I'm not just being, it's not me being unthinking and in it for the money. It's the person flying this plane who is a mercenary for a private oil company. The whole premise of Zeewolf is that in the future, transnational corporations are militarised, and this is actually a dispute over oil rights. The whole game is the good multinational oil company trying to claim back its rightful fossil fuel exploitation from an evil multinational fossil fuel company that has armed up and expelled them. I'm not entirely sure what the moral is. Keep trying to press the wrong keyboard to land the helicopter. So the controls, obviously you use the mouse to point the helicopter in a particular direction. You use the left button to shoot, and you use the right button for a sort of turbo boost. So when you see the craft sort of bouncing when I land, that's because I turn on the turbo boost just before the plane, just before the chopper comes down, to avoid landing too heavily. Which definitely the way that you screw up the landing is to just let the chopper drop out of the sky. Okay, so there's I can't actually remember where on this map my carrier is. So there'll now be a brief interlude of me flying around, avoiding the patrol craft. It's not going to be that way. Yeah, me avoiding the patrol craft while looking for that thing there, which is my carrier. Now, it is probably worth fueling up before the next bit. Oh, what keyboard. When I'm on the Vampire, I have an RGB keyboard for the streaming computer, and then I have a very, very evidently different cheap Logitech keyboard, which is like the one thing that works with the Vampire. This, because I'm using Amiga now, I've got another RGB keyboard. I've got a Ducky Shine 6. That one's dash keyboard. I'll tell you what it is when I can look at it. So the one connected to the streaming computer is dash keyboard X50. The one connected to the Amiga is a Ducky Shine 6. I've got a Logitech gaming mouse over there, and this glorious thing, by which I actually mean glorious Model O, over there. And because the two setups look very similar, I keep using the wrong keyboard. And I just bounced the helicopter off of the carrier. So now I think that massive landmass up there is probably where the fusion reactor is. Yep. Now I can take out the... No, that is not. That is the one that I just rescued the people from. Okay. There's the reactor. And it's these inshore patrol craft are the ones I have to get. And I really don't like the patrol craft, so I'm going to shoot them as quickly as possible with rockets. This is vast overuse of weaponry. But these things are very good at targeting. And as you can tell, the rockets are actually quite hard to target with. Okay, so I used every single rocket I had. Space exchange weapons. Every single rocket I had to destroy the patrol boats. And I still got hit a bunch. My armour is the gauge on the right, and you can see that it is rather depleted. Once again, massive bonus to save people. Okay, so we need to escort the other helicopters to retake the base. And we have to destroy the things that are near my base. But look, if I go over here to take out the Hippo units, that helicopter there is going to take off and start flying into ocean. So what I need to do is to go to the other base and destroy everything I find there. Then go back to the Hippos. Otherwise, I'll be taking the Pelican into the enemy fire. But of course, if I leave it too long, then the helicopter will come under fire anyway. So what I'll do, that happens to be nearby. Take him out anyway. Then go to the regional sea. That boat will almost certainly be in the way. Yeah, these two patrol boats and that helicopter would have taken out. Can I actually take out the other thing without triggering the Pelican? No, that boat might be... See, there's that Hippo. Definitely don't want him getting closer to the helicopter to destroy it before I'm ready. So now, okay, now I'm going to go back, get this boat. Good. And now we need to go to the other base and take out anything we find here. See that thing? Is that... They're quite good at firing really chunky mortars, so I'm very glad that... Oops. They're quite fast at aiming. Probably don't need to take out my own building. What I'm going to do now is fly back. Whoop. Because there should be an unimpeded route now for that, the other helicopter, the Pelican. Now that I'm in place, literally every time I press the G button, it's the wrong G button. Okay, so this is supposed to be like a personnel carrying helicopter, although all you can tell is that it's a bigger, slower helicopter. And he's going past the patrol ships that I took out, past the helicopter that I took out, and flying in this way to maximise the proximity to the rocket-propelled grenade vehicles and... Oh, well, that's target radio. So you see, it says commencing assault action, nothing happens. So there is very minimalist aesthetic in this game, but I like this kind of thing. Okay, destroy some tanks, save some people. Doesn't tell us where it is. But I probably can do this one in 2 chunks. Probably need to do this one in 2 chunks. So I can treat the 2 bases as separate. It may turn out that people are actually in both bases. Okay, so the noise meant that one of those red dots appeared as a helicopter. Ah! Okay, so those are tank sheds. So the people probably aren't on this one. Nope. There are also 6 tanks I need to destroy. However, there are no boats I need to destroy, and like I said, the boats are actually pretty hardcore. So I'm going to deliberately avoid any proximity to the water. 2. They said there were a total of 6, I think. So there are 6 dudes. Because while there are multiple races for the people, they've all pretty much got male military buzzcut hair. suppose that doesn't mean they are actually now. 6 people. I don't think this thing has capacity for 6, this helicopter. Whoops. Well, that would be bad. I think all 6 people are in that building that I just tanked. It hasn't told me that I've failed the mission. I'm going to go after this little helicopter here. That's surprisingly difficult to aim. Anti-aircraft missile. Okay, yeah, I think I've hosed this because there aren't any more buildings left. Let's try that one again. So the attempt this time is exactly the same as before, but try not to kill the good guys when you're rescuing them. And I think the way to do that is just to be very parsimonious with how you shoot at them. You have to shoot at the building because you need the building, you need to blow the bloody doors off, to quote Michael Caine. But if you use extra bullets, then you're effectively shooting at people. So let's try and not do that. That one's a tank. Okay, yeah. Nope. There we go, we're targeting. Somehow. Ah, I did target that building again. So now there's once again only 2 people. Okay. This is actually a really hard thing to do. So I need to work out which of those buildings it is and take it out last so that I'm not shooting while there's people. So these 3 all just contain tanks. There's no reason to let the tanks out. No particular reason to take out those anti-aircraft sites either. No need to encounter that patrol craft, or get shot at, in other words. Right, that one. And that one contain tanks. So that one doesn't. Now I will go around and fire it, destroying everything that's in sight. so that it can't shoot at me while I save the people who are in that building, I think. Okay, AFV's destroyed. Get the other anti-aircraft gun. Good. Did I get that one yet? Good. Yep. Shoot this building until people come out. No more. There we go. Control keyboard. I hope the G key on this key on my OBS isn't a keyboard shortcut for like ban everyone from the stream or something. Right, now, whoops, with 6 people on board and without having, now we'll destroy that building, screw it. There we go. Now, work out where the carrier is, because they didn't show that on the mission briefing, and take these folks home without encountering enemy patrol ships, if possible. Okay. Right. Okay, that sound was an enemy helicopter taking off. That is the thing. Right, okay. That was actually, once I'd worked out... Oh, I got the right keyboard. Once I'd worked out the trick with not killing everyone as soon as you liberate them, it made the mission fairly easy. Okay, good. And it turns out you can take 6 people at once in the helicopter. There they all go. How's the level of my voice in relation to the in-game effects? So I have to carry this tank over to the enemy. Alright. Unless I ignore sea-based units, that probably means is that they're going to be in my way in my attempt to take the tank over. And whatever's there. Ooh. Okay. Right, that's bad. Whoa. Is that missile gun all the way around the world? Okay, because I just used up all my weapons. They did say we were having resupply problems. Whoa! The tank is really heavy. So what I need to do is fly this over without getting shot out of the sky. I use the turbo, which uses a ton of fuel. I'm going to fly out of the way and hopefully he can do his job. might be slightly more comradely to like stay around and make sure that he's alright, but I literally have no rockets, no missiles, no cannon. There's nothing I can do with them. And it appears to have this under control. Whoa! And I'm getting the points for the tank skills. On Zeewolf 2, which I've also got on here, we could play. Oh, okay, the tank has got stuck. So I'm going to try and work. Okay. The tank is incredibly resilient. On Zeewolf 2, you get to control the tanks. Now there's a sort of remote control thing. You land your craft next to it and dock. Nice one. Yeah, you got him. Anyway, so in Zeewolf 2 you can like dock with this remote control vehicle and then take over the other vehicle, and then take over a tank and drive that around instead. So step 2. Actually, might run out of fuel with the amount of turboing around. Let's resupply it. As long as I'm not within missile range of any of those other things, I can at least refuel. And get 50 cannon. It's not very many. There he goes. Right, what is there still to be done? I thought that was it, actually. If there's anything else, I'm in slight trouble because those 23 shells are all I've got. 14. 9. If that isn't it, then I'm screwed, I think. Or I'm going to be carrying this tank around somewhere else. I'm feeling all this stuff is dead. Nope, that tank there. Right, that was my last shot. Okay, we'll take the fight over there then. Oops. On keyboard. Stop it. Now I noticed that this tank I'm carrying actually seems to have quite a lot of ammunition, and it's only me who doesn't have any. Is that in there? Please let that be it, because I haven't actually got a whole lot of fuel. That is not it. Oh, is it those blooming anti-aircraft things on the island? Oh wow, you got a helicopter. Excellent. Okay, let's see if taking out those... Get wet. Me accidentally pressing space. See if taking out those two anti-aircraft things does it then? Kind of out of ideas otherwise. Woo! I am going to leave him to it a bit. Whoops. I presumably came very close then. But because there is continuity, this guy's just going to drive over and take that side out. And I get some more cannon again. Seems to be not having much luck destroying that one. Let's try that. Probably right next to it. Okay. Ooh, that was hard. Fine control between. I actually thought I'd do better than that. Okay, so there's the next passcode. Going for nearly an hour. I'm going to do one more mission. I'm going to record that password, then I'm going to call it. There we go. One friendly escort. Another dome contains a new enemy destroyed. Okay, so we don't know where the two domes are. And we do know there's POWs. And we know that there is the refuel vehicle. So I reckon the domes are probably going to be at the top. They tend not to put everything in the same place because that would make it easy. And now I've got some actual weapons I can fire at things. So that one. Bye-bye, Mr. Helicopter. Bye-bye, Mr. Tree. Here's a little bit of, here's a little bit of whimsy in this game. You can take out the trees. My guess would be the blue one. A friendly one. Yeah. Which was a mistake, because now I've got to accompany that guy. And of course I shouldn't blow up the buildings just in case there's friendly people in them. Right, he's taken off. So now I just have to fly around. Operation Human Shield. Whoops. Whoopsie. And of course, flying through the anti-aircraft line. And I'm doing a bad job of missing. Oh, well. Okay, that's bad. Luckily, he's doing a good job of not being shot at. And there's our vehicle. And I don't have a camel or a resupply vehicle on that. Okay. Right, you're back. Oh, I do have a resupply vehicle on there. Wow. Okay. So I get to resupply there and when I get back to the other place. Nice. This is the last mission I'm going to play in this stream. You have been watching Zeewolf. The rather fun, well for me anyway, hopefully it's fun for you, Amiga helicopter combat game, which is running on Amibian on a Raspberry Pi. Actually, this is the Raspberry Pi Model 3, I think. Right, so that's one we wanted to destroy, I hope. We haven't found people. There are people in there. I was kind of assuming that the people would be somewhere else away from the domes. Just so there's more stuff you have to get shot at by. And there's a tank coming on there. I hope that you get in before the tank comes on. Well done. I'm going to drop you off. I'm going to look for everybody else. That'll be a helicopter. Okay, they don't actually patrol over your carrier. That's brought my shot average down, hasn't it? Okay, are the other people here? Ah, there is another dome. Maybe this is the one that I'm supposed to... Maybe there's another dome with another vehicle in it. Whoops. Bouncing off the ground. Okay, there's massive armoured tanks and hippos around as well. It's alright. There's a helicopter on shore again. I'm actually going to need to step. Whoops. So now it's permanently colliding with the aircraft carrier. It looks like the aircraft carrier is indestructible, which is always a question I had, so that's good to know. Is that close enough for those people who are going to die? No. But there is now an infinitely deading helicopter carcass. Never done that before. Okay, so somewhere around here there's a massive tank, which I may as well just take out. And then go back to this other base and find out what that other sneaky thing is that I'm supposed to be deading. Excellent. Extra life to make up for the one I lost. I'm going to call it a stream there, so it looks like there are a few of you in chat. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, my usual thing is not that I am leave stream, which I'm pretty happy to do occasionally, just when I want to unwind. But basically what happens is when I play games on the Amiga and I go, actually I'm just going to stream this to the internet. My main thing is those Amigas, which I run with SRBaker every Thursday, usually 1800 UTC, and occasionally at other times, and we stream Amiga software programming, so development. We write software for the Amiga, on the Amiga, which we're learning how to do because we haven't, we're both programmers, we haven't written Amiga software before. So hopefully that's enjoyable to you. Check that stream out. Please do follow and subscribe over there. Thank you very much for watching this stream, and see you again sometime.